Good evening, everyone. So another Wednesday evening has rolled around. It's one of the points within the monastery routine that marks time, in a way. Doesn't seem like long ago that it was last Wednesday. Maybe if you've been watching from home in the past. I personally find it helpful to have these routines that we consider skillful points in our day, our week, our month, our year. But I want to highlight the word skillful. It's good to be circumspect and careful what we create as a routine or a habit. So I put this in the category, obviously, of skillful habit. So within our day here in the monastery, we have our typical day is to begin in the morning early, rise early, be in here by 5 in the morning, and then have our meditation and chanting, and then to end our day as we're doing now, come to this beautiful Dhamma hall. And practice meditation, quietude, reflection. Sort of top and tail our day. And it's very helpful to follow routines, not just to follow our own desires, because sometimes our desire might say something else. There might be something skillful on the schedule, but we want to do something else. Maybe not feeling very energized, or maybe not feeling very well, or just maybe at that moment having sort of momentary lapse of interest, which is natural. That's not unnatural. But having routines that we try to, as best as possible, as much as possible, try to adhere to them, to try and go beyond like and dislike. I never met Ajahn Chah, but we're very blessed with having contact with people that did know him and did study under him, train under him, and also we are blessed with having his teachings translated, transcribed, available. And he apparently used a phrase, I don't know how many times, but he says, you want to go to morning meditation, you go to morning meditation. You don't want to go to morning meditation, you go to morning meditation. So in other words, whether like or dislike, the way I translate that, which is pretty simple, I think, is that, whether we want to or not, if something is skillful and expected and planned and all of those things, part of our routine, especially here in a monastery or other wholesome place, is to rise above like and dislike. Because if we're just following desire, which is pretty much what we're taught to do from a very young age, and then as we get older and get subject to being bombarded with advertisements and things like that. We're taught to follow desire. But this practice leads to transcending like and dislike, not numbing it, not killing it. It's not trying to get rid of desire or get to a point where we never have any feeling of not wanting, but it's more really seeing them with wisdom and responding with wisdom, with circumspection. So tonight we have this opportunity to practice meditation, and that's one of the methods to develop this way of being, to develop this heart and mind that can transcend like and dislike, pain and pleasure, can experience them, experience that whole range of experience, fully feel it, and yet be okay. We can be at ease with what's not easy, and with ease with what is easy. We can be at peace with even things that aren't peaceful. Be at peace with chaos. It doesn't mean we like it, doesn't mean we want it. No, that's trying to turn an apple into an orange, and that's not possible. So meditation, as I said, is one of the methods. It's not the goal. Meditation is not the goal, but the method, one of the methods. A method of being able to see and know liking and disliking. To give space to liking and disliking. To learn how to not cling to liking and disliking. So it's not to, as I was referring to a few minutes ago, it's not to numb the mind, zone out, get into some sort of altered state. Not to blank out. Completely, it's not there to completely eradicate all feeling, become some sort of zombie, but it's to develop clarity, poised alertness, and circumspection, to respond, to be circumspect, to respond to experience skillfully, and to endure, not with gritted teeth, but to endure with space, spacious heart, and a spacious mind. Let our experiences flow through consciousness instead of obstructing them, wrestling with them, fighting with them. So we'll sit quietly. I'll give brief guidance on one way of meditating. Very simple. It's one that's we've all heard before, I imagine. Using the body, the breath, to give us a gentle anchor to the present moment. And I really want to stress the word gentle. So first of all, we find a posture, whether we're sitting on a bench, chair, stool, cushion, to find a posture that can be sustained without hopefully too much need to move. The spine is upright, but in its own way. The spine has natural curves that are crucial to the easy functioning of the body. So we try to imagine our head, our ears being in line with our shoulders, and our shoulders in line with the hip socket. So ears, shoulders, hips. And between those points are where the curves of the spine will be at rest. We check to make sure we're not leaning side to side. And this sets us up in a way that we're using the least amount of physical energy to sustain a sitting posture. At this point, it can be useful to slowly sweep our attention through the whole body, across the whole body, from, let's say, the top of the head, the crown of the head, and just gently scan with our mindfulness, scan down the front of the face, across the forehead to begin with, and relax those muscles, or those so many muscles in the face, and just let them relax around the eyes, upper cheeks, across the cheeks and around the mouth. Jaw. Now the neck, all the way around the neck. Just enough muscular energy to keep the head upright. Those long muscles that run along the side of our neck down to our shoulders. Just let the shoulders hang, and the arms beneath the shoulders hang. And gravity is just doing what it does. Body subject to gravity. And relax the hands. Are we gripping? Now returning to up to the top of the torso, we go down the sides of the body, releasing any tension around the ribs, and then the front of the torso. Same thing, don't grip. Along the back, are we using just that amount of energy to keep the body upright? Along the hip area. Allow the hip sockets to relax. Join to the leg. And just sweep down the legs all the way down to the tips of the toes. Now try to just encompass the entire body at once and relax. From the crown of the head to the toes, fingertips. We're sitting still, and yet we're not still. These bodies are pulsing, breathing. When our attention is placed on the body, and we're noticing bodily sensations, that is in the present moment. It's an obvious and simple truth. That experience right now is present moment awareness. Now let's place our attention on the breathing process. Wherever you notice the breath easiest. So I tend to use the abdomen. That gentle swelling and then contracting or falling of the abdomen. But choose wherever you find easiest. And just keeping it simple, just notice when the in-breath is occurring and the out-breath. We're not trying to control the breath, or change the breath in any way. We're simply noticing. Noticing when we're breathing in and breathing out. But also noticing, is the breath shallow? Or is it deep? Or somewhere in between? What speed? Is it fast, slow, or in between? Is the breath different than it was a few moments ago or a few minutes ago? Gentle attention on the breath. And when the mind or some perception of an emotion comes into consciousness, notice it, acknowledge its presence. If it's an emotion, feel it, and let it move, and just gently place attention back on the breathing. gentle attention on the body breathing. And keep returning over and over again if the mind gets pulled out, distracted in some way. This is very, very natural. The intellect is very quick. It's very stimulated much of our day. So it's very, very normal for it to continue thinking and going here and there. So let's be gentle in training our attention onto something so simple as the breath. Just so gentle. Keep returning. Even if it happens every few seconds, just keep returning to the breath. This is the practice. And then we start to see that amazing energy of the mind, the amazing range of emotions that we feel. Through this practice of noticing, acknowledging, and then returning to the simplicity of the breath. whether a thought or an emotion are pleasant or painful, liked. They have a common bond. They have a common quality in that they are formed because of certain situations. Certain elements have come to be, to cause that thought to arise, through our experience, through our memories, through plans, or your array of elements go into the formation of that thought. Whether it's pleasant or painful, liked or disliked. And same with emotions. It's caused by different conditions coming into being, coming together to form that emotion. So this is a shared aspect of all experience. And the other thing that it shares, one of the other things, is that they are impermanent, transient states of being. They were formed, caused, conditioned. They arise, and then they, because they've arisen, they will cease at some point. Wanted, unwanted, pleasant, painful, liked, disliked, they share these elements, qualities. So this is where this practice of noticing what arises and ceases in consciousness, in awareness, by patiently experiencing these things, spaciously experiencing these things, feeling these things, but by doing this in a spacious, aware way, we cultivate this heart and mind that can experience everything and still be okay. We can experience the highest joys and wonderful moments and not cling to them or get drunk on our happiness, not get lost and reckless, and not lose our sense of restraint, gentle restraint. We can do that, we can enjoy that, delight in that. we can experience and endure even the most painful things, even the most unwanted things. We can let that pass through our consciousness, our awareness. Here again, feel it, know it. But it does pass through. Sometimes so slowly we don't believe it'll ever go away. But it changes. So through this regular practice of sitting quietly or doing walking meditation, lying meditation, standing meditation, just taking time during our day to stop, to breathe, to place the attention on something really simple. Walking meditation, one foot touching the ground after the other. Learning to observe the mind and heart, to be the observer. As we come near the end of our meditation this evening, just a final encouragement for all of us to keep our practice regular, even if it's just a few minutes. It needn't be a whole hour. Even a few minutes can have a powerful effect, positive effect. Yeah, so keep the practice regular, but also keep it simple. There's enough complication available to us. Enough complication that naturally comes our way. So let's try not to add to it. Using something as simple as the breathing process to allow the mind to settle a little bit at least, to the point where we're more in tune, seeing more clearly what is arising and ceasing in our awareness. And learning to let those things move as they do, let them pass through, unobstructed, totally experienced and felt, but unobstructed. We'll end the evening by paying respects to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well